this works, and then, okay, I'll use it then, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Walter here, and you're at the Think Profit podcast, where we're going to help you develop a rock-solid trading confidence and avoid the potentially endless cycle of system switching. Right, Hugh?
That's right. We're going to help you develop a wealth mindset, develop a trading strategy that fits your core personality, and help you overcome the obstacles that stop over 90% of traders.
All right, Hugh, sounds good. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this. Hey, Walter, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing, Hugh?
Good. Good to see you again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So new podcast, slightly different topic. So I guess we can get started with the first one, which is,
Let's do it.
Is psychology or your trading strategy more important?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I guess it's like in science, or in psychology, they're always nurture versus nature. For me, personally, I think I look at it, I did my PhD in developmental psychology. So we're looking at different stages. And so the way I look at trading is kind of the same way, where as traders, we go through different stages, and you may have a different experience to me in terms of, what trading, like what that journey's been like. But I think that there tends to be an overarching commonality among traders, which is essentially that, in the beginning, it's all about the system, and the entry especially. And then later on, you start to learn about the importance of exits. And then maybe you start to get into the importance of your risk rules. Mm-hmm. And the other side, I kind of look at them as two sides of the same coin. Risk and psychology is sort of the same thing. I mean, in a sense that if you really mess with your risk and really ramp it up, that will affect your psychology. And we all know that as traders, like the sleepless nights, worrying about the trades and things like that.
Yeah, right? You get your alarm set and everything, right? Hey there, I hope you're finding this episode useful. I just wanted to let you know that Walter and I give away something valuable every month that helps traders improve their skills. You can enter to win by simply leaving an iTunes review and leaving a comment on our YouTube videos. At the end of each month, we'll look at the comments and reviews from the month, and we'll pick a winner at random. Each comment and each review counts for one entry during the month that it's submitted. So if you're interested in that, be sure to enter after this podcast is over. All right, back to the episode.
Yeah, so I think psychology is very important. Probably if I pressed, I'd say it's the most important, but I think it's only important to you once you've already gone through those first stages. That's my point of view. I don't know. What's your experience been like?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think that if I had to put a percentage on it, maybe about 90% is psychology, because a lot of people, think, the system, but that psychology is going to help you stick with the system, number one. Number two, keep searching for systems until you find something that works. So I think the psychology is like a really big part compared to the system overall.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I always like to think the extremes, and then that kind of highlights things like the importance of things. So, for example, like what you just said, what if Hugh traded a totally different system, right? Would Hugh still be able to make consistent profits? And my answer would be yes, right? Let's face it, there are free systems available right now in the dark corners of the internet that will work, right? Mm-hmm. And you just got to find the one that makes sense to you, right? And yet we still spend all this money on systems and indicators and all this stuff. It's the reality. We want someone to put a stamp on it that we believe in and say, this works, and then okay, I'll use it then, that sort of thing. So, but then the reverse. What about the reverse? What if? And so I said the system, right? What if you swap out your system? Can you still make it work? The answer is yes. What if you have a pretty good handle on your psychology today and that's all going well, but then in the future you don't? You lose that part? Would you still be able to make money even though you're trading the same system you've always been trading? And the answer is probably no. So I think you're right. I think you nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about this thought of like there's just some basic concepts in trading, regardless of the system, it's always there. So even if you switch systems, you're still looking at a similar type of structure, price structure, or whatever, right? Is that part of that, or do you think it's more of the system?
Yeah, I guess. Can you expand a little bit more on that? Because I want to know exactly what you're
so like if you
focusing on.
If you did like a moving average crossover, right? So that's just basically a turning point. So you could do the moving average crossover, you can do the Bollinger Band, you can do the head and shoulders at that point. That's kind of a system, right? But if you have the right psychology, you could probably spot, oh, that's just a turning point because of this and not necessarily the indicator, right?
Yeah, and that's right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like I think that you can see divergence on the charts without indicators on the charts, right?
Yeah.
Like if you look at charts long enough, and I'll never forget, I had a friend who'd been trading longer than I had, and he was really good at what he did, but he had all these really, like, I think he paid, I want to say he paid about, I don't know, $1,000 a month or $800 a month. It was something like that every month to rent these indicators that he used, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he came out to visit me in Australia, and he was looking at the chart on his phone. He goes, "Oh, I got a signal now." I'm like, "What do you mean you have a signal? That's a naked chart. Like, you don't have all your fancy indicators on there, you know?" Like, because he had to have TradeStation, and I don't know if TradeStation is mobile now, but back then it definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
And he was looking at his naked chart, and he goes, "No, I have a signal." I'm like, "Dude, that's the 5-minute chart you're looking at, okay? You trade the 3-minute chart with a bunch of indicators. How do you know that you have a signal?" And the reality is that he had looked at the market so much through that one like filter that he knew exactly where the indicators would be placed. Do you know what I mean? Because he's just so used to it. Yeah. And I think there's something to that. I really do. I think that if you get someone who's been around trading for a long time, particularly with one filter, one point of view, one system, I think they will be able to tell you whether or not they have a trade, even if their crutch isn't on the chart. I do believe that. I really do believe that.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's kind of a crutch at me sometimes, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, great. Thanks, Walter.
Yep.
All information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not trading or investment advice.